Eleanor Roosevelt stumbled upon many conflicts between the world powers and the United Nations, and if people disagreed, she would come up with a compromise and show leadership, along with courage in order to get the Universal Declaration of Human Rights passed.
Eleanor was born in New York City on October 11, 1884. She was an awkward, serious kid who was well educated at Allenswood Academy in England. The headmistress, Marie Sylvester, was big on promoting social responsibility and independence.
In 1905, Eleanor married her fifth cousin, Franklin Roosevelt, in New York. He was the 32nd President of the United States. She raised 4 children as her husband continued his career in politics. After 13 years of marriage, Eleanor Roosevelt went through one of her hardest moments of her life. She learned that her husband had fallen in love with another woman. She was heartbroken and wanted to end the marriage. However, he urged her to remain his wife, so she did. After this, the relationship has changed. Instead of playing the part of the politician's wife, she began to build a different life with hobbies and interests of her own.
One of her big accomplishments, besides working for human rights and the UN, is working for the Red Cross. In 1917, during the First World War, she partnered with the Red Cross and served food for soldiers departing from Washington's Union Station. She also volunteered at a naval hospital, coordinating families' appeals for aid.
Besides being involved in politics, Eleanor also wrote books in her free time. She wrote more than 25 books about many different topics. One of her most famous books is her autobiography. The single volume talks about her amazing life spent in public service. Anybody could write a book about Eleanor Roosevelt's life, but the way she describes everything in her own words is unique.
Back to the United States, after her years studying in England, she was frustrated by the fact that she'd been intellectually engaged and stimulated as a student there, and then when she came back, she was expected to discontinue her education and become a debutante. But one of her expectations as a debutante was to pick up some kind of service project, and she chose to work with a settlement.
In 1947, Eleanor Roosevelt was elected chairman of the Commission on Human Rights. She held this position until 1951, when she relinquished it, saying that she didn't believe in permanent chairs. She was a part of drafting the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. On December 10, 1948, she proposed the Declaration of Human Rights to the General Assembly for adoption.
The purpose of the Declaration of Human Rights is to bring peace to all nations of the world. On December 10, 1948, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was approved by 56 members of the United Nations. It was proclaimed as an important document incorporating peace and a landmark protecting the rights and pride of the people, beginning a new system.
By creating the Universal Human Rights Declaration, she made many impacts today. She made sure that the document focused on human dignity, so all people with different races, cultures, and religious beliefs will be respected and feel comfortable in their own environments.
This Universal Declaration of Human Rights may well become the international Magna Carta of all men everywhere. We hope its proclamation by the General Assembly will be an event comparable to the proclamation of the Declaration of the Rights of Man.
The reason the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted in 1948 was because it was a result of the tragic genocide in World War II. Also known as the Holocaust, this tragic time took away people's rights and beliefs. Because of this unfair treatment, the UN believed everyone in the world deserved basic rights and fair treatment. Therefore, the Declaration of Human Rights was created.
Eleanor Roosevelt's goal was to create a compromise in the United Nations in order to secure human and civil rights for the people. She wanted to do this because she believed each person in diverse ethnicities should have equal rights.
While writing the Declaration of Human Rights, not everyone agreed with Eleanor's beliefs, and so a few conflicts arose in her path. Unfortunately, Russian diplomats did not believe that all people should have these rights, and that states should be able to choose if they receive them or not. The Russian leaders also wanted a provision after each paragraph stating the specific rules. But Eleanor opposed the country's opinion, and she clearly made sure that everyone understood her wants and goals. Although this may sound bossy and needy, she only did this out of the goodness in her and to protect everyone in the world.
However, she came up with a compromise. After debating with her peers, Eleanor Roosevelt finally persuaded the State Department to accept the involvement of economic rights. After all, President Roosevelt coined the post-war goal of freedom from want, which is part of the 4 freedoms that he created. It means economic understandings that will secure to every nation a wealthy peacetime life for its inhabitants.
Disregarding the move to meet with other members of the United Nations, the Russians stonewalled the committee. They disliked and disagreed with the Universal Declaration. They made harmonious tirade against racial discrimination and unemployment in the U.S.
A Russian delegate brought up the controversy of Black Americans. Eleanor Roosevelt said that the Russians could send a team to inspect racial issues as long as we could send a U.S. team to the Soviet Union. This settled disputes between Russians and the U.S. As important as Eleanor was in the creation of the Declaration of Human Rights, there were many public figures that factored in on it. René Cassin of France drafted the DOHR, and her final draft was sent to the Commission at the UN. Then the UN members at a meeting called the Geneva Draft. Charles Mullick of Lebanon was the reporter for the committee. Peng Cheng of China was vice chairman. John Humphrey of Canada was director of the United Nations Human Rights Division and had the blueprint of the DOHR. Last, Eleanor Roosevelt of America was a driving force for the Declaration's adoption. Eleanor Roosevelt stumbled upon many conflicts between the world powers and the United Nations, and if people disagreed, she would come up with a compromise and show leadership along with courage in order to get the Universal Declaration of Human Rights passed.
Roosevelt was an incredible woman and did amazing things for our world. She will forever be remembered. This quote represents Eleanor's entire life because she was confident in everything she did and she strongly believed in her political opinions.